Thanks for coming to Politics and Life and a Curious Mind 25. This is Jordan. I hope all my freedom-loving patriots are having a blessed day. If you would not mind, please like, comment, and hit that subscribe button below. Trump was right about everything. Love this hat. So we have the No Kings rally tomorrow, and if you guys don't know what that is a protest. According to the left, that they have scheduled throughout the country, multiple areas. It seems like multiple areas of each state, and I believe it's going to be pure chaos if it's anything like we've been seeing out of LA lately, or Chicago, or any of these sanctuary states that have terrible management, terrible politicians that are in charge. And it looks like, it's just going to be another riot. So hopefully we get our shit together. Hopefully the military gets sent in if it does get bad enough. I hope it is nothing bad, but as we know, the Democrats don't know how to protest peacefully. We had the Roe v. Wade ones. We had the BLM ones. We had the Palestine ones. We had the Pride ones. Now we have the illegal ones. Now we have no kings. So if you look back on their track record, they haven't been really that good when it comes to peaceful protests. Anyways, I'm going to expose them today. We have the details on who's funding them. We have the details on who they're paying to promote them. And it's not hard to find. It's just the same people that run all these other organizations I just spoke of, like BLM and Antifa. Oh, Antifa as well. Forgot about Antifa. That's 6. Anyways, please like, comment, subscribe. Let's get started.
Are you going to fall for this tactic? He's separating families and their kids and all this other stuff. He's doing all this other stuff. It's going to be interesting watching how California handles this, because if they succeed in getting everybody else emotional, we know what game they're playing. June 14th is President Trump's 79th birthday, 250-year army. You got Flag Day. You got all this stuff that they're doing with America. They don't want to see any of these victories taking place. Axios article came out talking about 1,500 protests they're already planning in 50 states, funded by 100 progressive organizations, a lot of different NGOs. One of the Walton billionaires, Christy Walton, name was mentioned in New York Times. This is a $19-20 billion type of person. A lot of this money, you hear Soros, all these other things that they're doing. They're planning this. You know what they're looking for? I hate to say this. They're looking for their next George Floyd. That is all they need. They need one person. They need one massive crisis. They have no policies. They have no good ideas. I've yet to see. I went on ChatGPT. I said, can you tell me what solutions Mayor Bass and Gavin Newsom have given to all these protesting? There is no solutions.
And I've been saying that. I've been saying that for a while. They're looking for the next George Floyd moment.
Are you going to
I may have not said it like that, but it's so obvious. They have nothing. They don't debate policy. They have no policy. They have Trump, anti-Trump, and that's it. Trump derangement syndrome 24/7. January 6th, 24/7. Everything that Trump's doing, they always have to say the opposite or hate on him or take one little sentence he says in a 2-hour speech and mix it out of context. That is all they have. So now they use what they have the best, and which is fear mongering. But unfortunately, they seem to forget that we have a thing called social network these days, where we, the people, are now in charge, especially in regards to X. YouTube has been easier when it comes to free speech, so I will credit them as well, even though I think they're a very liberal platform. But they can't control the narratives anymore. They can't they can't fearmonger as much. They can't get away with this anymore because we have X, and X is changing the game when it comes to misinformation, disinformation. Now we're able to see both sides and come up with their own explanation. But anyways, I have a next video which exposes the 1,000 it says 31 NGOs behind 1,000 protests scheduled this Saturday, tomorrow, have been exposed by Data Republican. I would suggest every person follow Data Republican. She is doing God's work. She's been exposing a lot of stuff lately. And if you want to see constant stuff being exposed, both sides, the government, Congress, what they're spending our money on, she is the one to go to.
All week, No Kings has been the talk of the town. They're planning what is now well in excess of 1,000 protests this Saturday across the United States. They're well-funded, well-organized, and now the 31 NGOs behind them have been exposed. Zero Hedge reports the FBI is now probing these far-left NGOs funding the anti-ICE riots. FBI Director Kash Patel told Just the News the FBI is investigating any and all monetary connections responsible for these riots. This comes as a pattern of escalation is consistent with previous color revolution-style mobilizations by the Democratic Party NGO sphere. While experts note that the protest funding itself isn't illegal, the FBI is focusing on the intent behind financial support, particularly if it facilitated criminal activity. You can see here, people were seen distributing bionic shield masks that cost $30 to $50 each. It's not a grassroots protest. These masks assist rioters in fighting law enforcement and guard members. If you have to watch out for a burnt car, that isn't a peaceful protest. That isn't America. That's anarchy, acting ICE Director Todd Lyons told Fox News. You can see some of these insane images here. Among the nonprofits identified as playing a key role in last week's unrest are the Coalition for Humane Immigrant Rights and Union del Barrio, a group seen as the Mexican version of BLM, whose manifesto openly cites Marxist and communist ideology. These groups sparked some of the first protests, which quickly morphed into unrest last week and over the weekend. As civil unrest spreads across LA, President Trump has ordered the deployment of National Guard troops and Marines to stabilize the region. At the same time, nearly 200 NGOs linked to the Democratic Party's activist network are reportedly coordinating efforts to export the unrest to cities across the country this weekend. Data Republican, as always, coming in with the goods, just released Follow the Money Behind the No Kings rally. Data Republican has launched an interactive open source map showing how your tax dollars flow to organizations involved in the No Kings rally. Data Republican says she tracked funding from federal sources to final recipients, prioritizing direct paths, not via DAFs, whenever possible. She says important, most paths still went through donor-advised funds, or DAFs, the black box of the nonprofit world. Unfortunately, it's a common and opaque funding structure that deserves scrutiny. Explore it for yourself. We're going to have a look at that in a moment. She says she's going to keep updating the database as more EINs come in. Got a group to investigate. Send it to her with an EIN.
Ruth, I wish I could do that, but I have to work, unfortunately. I did tell my lady and her family they probably should stay home because I think it's going to be pure, utter chaos tomorrow throughout the country. I mean, if it's anything like it's been in LA, we have some trouble coming our way throughout the country. And if the cops don't fix it and fix it fast, we the people are going to have to, step in.
And let's shine a light on influence laundering. So here is Data Republican's data, the nonprofits linked to the June 14th No Kings rally. I'm just going to read some of these. You have the ACLU Foundation of Texas, Utah, Albuquerque Teachers Foundation, American Civil Liberties Union. It goes on. Bend the Arc, a Jewish partnership, Bend the Arc Jewish Action, Black Voters Matter Fund, BVM Capacity Building Institute, Color of Change, Common Defense Civic Engagement, Fixed Democracy First Education Fund, Ground Game LA, Indivisibles on there. We already knew that from Data Republican previously. National Women's Law Center Action Fund, Peace Action Education Fund, and the list goes on. Of particular note is this graphic that Data Republican posted, very, very informative, and how these funds sort of flow. You have the high taxpayer funds alert here and where they go into, and then where they go into from there. You have Silicon Valley Community Foundation, Chinese Progressive Association, Wynwood Fund, Liberty Hill Foundation, Amalgamated Charitable Fund, Inc., then all going to this BVM Capacity Building Institute, Inc. And you can see gross recipients here, over $20 million here. And going back to Data Republican's link that she's posted, when you click on See Federal Grant Flow, you can see the charity graphs. It's a multi-route system here, and we see people like the Open Society Institute, Schwab Charitable Fund, Rockefeller Philanthropy Advisors, Inc., and that's just to name a few, of course. We encourage everyone to follow Data Republican's work on this. It's truly tremendous. While it's positive to see investigations and exposure of these groups by the FBI, we are faced with a conundrum, no real accountability, and as of the time of this recording, no arrests. Whilst they seem to have apprehended a delivery boy, a man accused of delivering masks to rioters in LA, the real perpetrators, as it stands, still sit behind their desks or wherever they're sitting, coordinating civil unrest. Some lawmakers warned that foreign influence and ideologically driven funding may be fueling the violence and that protesters are being financially compensated to incite unrest. If that is indeed the case, which foreign influence and what are we going to do about it? If a foreign country is behind orchestrating riots, chaos, and what the administration is calling an insurrection, then that's a hostile attack from a foreign nation, isn't it? And for all of those involved locally, at bare minimum, potential treason. So we'll keep you updated as more of this unfolds. Bottom line, we need mass arrests surrounding these well-funded and well-coordinated riots. Are you protected in a world where threats of...
We need to be doing more when it comes to deportation. I know we're coming up with issues and people blocking the way, but I mean, I do think that eventually the problems are going to go away, but we need to send a stark message to these Democrats and people in high power, these corrupt judges that are stopping Trump from mandating what the American people voted for. We need some arrests, and I know there's been arrests, but we need more. We need more action. I think the military should be sent in a lot more and get that shit done in a day. If you guys recall, when Xi Jinping came to town, San Francisco, and I said this yesterday, the Democrats had the street cleaned up looking brand new in the Bay Area by the next day. But they can't do that for the American people. Instead, they flood the zone, give them free everything out of our hardworking taxpayer funds. And that's it. There's nothing we can do. They're just going to keep on handing them free shit all day long. It's also been exposed, TikTokers on X and TikTok, I've been seeing the last 3 days or since this event has popped up, spills the tea exposing that No King's Day for paying TikTokers $200 a day to support the riots. Ruth, I will check that channel out. Thanks for letting me know. I'll look into that right after the next video starts. Exclusive, who is funding the anti-Trump No Kings protest? It's 198 companies with $2.1 billion in revenue. Watch and read to learn. I wanted to hear it from the source herself. I think Andy Weingarten, the Teachers Union president, yuck. Reverend Al Sharpton, yuck. MSNBC. Let's see what they say about this.
Leah, I didn't get to do an appropriate introduction of you, and you started Indivisible with your husband.
No King's Day is 1,800 events. I think we'll hit 1,900 today, all over the country, in every single state. We got a lot of coverage. You are probably within 30 minutes of an event wherever you are. If you are not, consider yourself invited to host and run your own event. But it will be all over the country on June 14th. We will be gathering together for a community experience, for a show of defiance. We hope we'll see you there.
When you started thinking about, and I remember those first conversations, this No King's Day, when you started thinking about April 5th, when we started thinking about March 4th, all of these were about how people kind of come together to actually say, no, this is not what we wanted. I hear, rumor has it, that we have Reverend Sharpton on the phone right now, and I can't wait to see you on Saturday.
All right, thank you. Can't wait to see you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, my friend.
This effort, we're seeing so much pickup and so much energy in really red areas of the country. There are dozens of events on the books in Wyoming, in Montana, in Nebraska. We are hearing from people all over, from small towns.
Not buying it at all. If Randy Weingarten and Al Sharpton are going somewhere, I don't trust them whatsoever. And just so we can go on the insurrection, since they like to bring up January 6th still, looks like, according to Benny Johnson, this was posted 1 hour ago, a mob of deranged leftist rioters just broke into the barricades at the Capitol. Insurrection. Let's see what they said.
We got people breaking through the barriers of the Capitol building. We got people breaking through the barriers of the Capitol building. There's people that are breaking through the barriers of the Capitol building, rushing the Capitol steps. We got people rushing the Capitol steps right now.
Unacceptable.
Capitol Police are responding to the break. Capitol Police are responding to those who broke through the Capitol barriers.
These idiots really need to just go to these other countries they're so obsessed with. This just blows my mind how dumb they are. They talk about January 6th, and it's a lot of these dumb, also very, very woke, like deranged liberals at these protests that bring up January 6th. Yet there was an insurrection right there for you. You won't hear nothing about it on the left-wing news or any big media probably in general besides Fox, which is just shows how they have no morals. They lie. They think we're dumb. It's really that simple. Now, I think this woman kind of sums it up perfectly on this event and how you shouldn't go there
If you are
because it's not our fight.
thinking about attending one of these protests on Saturday, please do me a favor and watch this video all the way through. I promise it won't be long before you make up your mind. And please share this to anyone that you think might be planning on attending, because what I'm about to say is very important. I might have voted for Trump in this last election, but I am a lifelong Democrat. And I have stood exactly where you are standing right now. I used to believe in the cause. I used to have the passion. I know what it feels like to want to do something in the face of injustice. But I am asking you, matter of fact, I am pleading with you, sit this one out. What's happening on Saturday might look like another protest, but behind the scenes, there are some serious shadows at play. There are people funding this movement that do not care about justice. They are not looking for peaceful reform. They are looking for chaos. They are literally playing a game with lives, and they are willing to sacrifice yours to win. This is not about the issue anymore. This is about power. And I took these screenshots from my iPad, so forgive me if they're a little wonky, but this is a website called datarepublican.com. It literally is tracking all of the nonprofits, all of the government organizations, all of the NGOs, all of the big organizations that are funneling money into these protests. There are entire flow charts for each organization that shows how the money flows from the top and gets funneled down into these organizations. This website will literally show you and break down how they are taking money from the top that has been donated by taxpayers, and they're funneling it down through trusts into random nonprofits from different states so that you cannot track the money back to where it came from. The thing that you have to understand in this moment is that the people that are funding this and the people that are pushing this movement forward are not activists. They are strategists. They are billionaires. They are CEOs, and they are probably government officials. And their goal isn't equality. It's instability. They want headlines. They want chaos. They want outrage. They want division. They want frustration. And they know that if enough well-meaning people get hurt or worse, the media is going to spin it in their favor, and the nation is going to fracture even further. That is exactly what they want. I need you to know that in this moment, you are being used. And I know that you guys really care about the issues that you are fighting for. I get it, okay? But the question you need to be asking yourselves is, if the people behind the curtain really cared about you, would they be putting your lives at risk in order to accomplish their goals? Because at the end of the day, you are the ones that are on the front lines, not them. And when things go sideways, and I believe that there is a strong possibility that they will disappear into the background, and they will leave you facing the consequences. Because I'm just going to warn you, not every single state is going to be as lax on what is going on as California has been. Let me show you what Georgia and Florida had to say about these riots. Georgia Attorney General Chris Carr posted this on Facebook. A warning to rioters: we will not hesitate to bring domestic terrorism charges for those who earn it. We are not California or New York. We are Georgia. We don't make excuses for criminals here. We prosecute them.
If you try to mob rule a car in Brevard County, gathering around it, refusing to let the driver leave, in our county, you're most likely going to get run over and dragged across the street. If you spit on us, you're going to the hospital and in jail. If you hit one of us, you're going to the hospital and jail.
Yes.
And most likely get bitten by one of our big, beautiful dogs that we have here. If you throw a brick, a firebomb, or point a gun at one of our deputies, we will be notifying your family where to collect your remains at. Because we will kill you graveyard dead. We're not going to play.
That is what the law enforcement in Florida had to say about the situation. So I hope you take me seriously when I am telling you that these people are intentionally encouraging you to do things that are putting your life at risk. So I am asking you, please do not give them what they want. Your life is worth way more than being a pawn in someone else's game. And at the end of the day, there is still real work that needs to be done, but you are not going to be a part of it if you are no longer here. So sit this one out, okay? Watch closely and question everything, because the truth is starting to show, and those of us who have already stepped away can see it clearly now. At the end of the day, as your fellow citizens, we just want you safe and free and awake in the realest sense of the word.
And I'm going to keep on saying, follow Data Republican. She is the one exposing all of this. she's been like doing God's work the past few weeks. Data Republican, follow her. She's exposing all of this like live on a daily basis, showing the NGOs, how they're funneling the money, which is our taxpayer dime, into these NGOs and then into these organizations. It's insane how she talks about it. Here's Anna Paulina, one of my favorite representatives, exposing more of No Kings.
That you're tracking actually had an internal memo that was released that stated that the government of China considered you a prime target for influence operations. I'm letting you know that now because I do believe that you should be made aware of, if you are not already, that you are working with and going to be speaking at an organization and rally that not is just funded by Christy Walton, the heiress of Walmart, but also has ties to the Chinese Progressive Association, largely funding it, that actually brags on their website that they are pro-Maoist. Also, too, funded by the National Endowment for Democracy. I know there's a lot of people on this committee that don't like billionaires interfering in politics, but say nothing when George Soros gets over $260 million from USAID through the last administration that's then funneled into some of these nonprofits and organizations. So I guess my question for you guys is, now that I've made you aware that these riots are not about illegals and they're not about immigrants, if they did, they would have been protesting under Barack Obama, who's also dubbed the deporter-in-chief. And frankly, I think many of you would say that Barack Obama was a good president. Are you going to say that Barack Obama wasn't a good president? Yes or no, Governor Waltz? Do you think he was a good president?
Do I think Barack Obama was a
Correct.
good president? I think he did a good job.
Okay, how about you, Governor Pritzker?
I think he did a good job.
Hochul?
Hochul, and yes, he did do a good job.
Okay, next, Perryman.
I think President Obama did a good job.
So then you would understand that Barack Obama had the very same policies for the most part on immigration that Republicans are parroting today. And yet you guys are sitting here saying that we're Gestapo. And what I would tell you is that what happens with open borders is that the real people that are coming here, the ones that are exploited, actually it hurts people on both sides, not just Americans, but the illegals. Some of you had said here to the actual committee that you are doing what you can to assist these people. But what I would say is that your policies aren't actually done from a place of understanding and sympathy. I would say that it's actually doing the exact opposite. And when you use brown people, just like they use black people with BLM and Marxists during BLM to usher that in, when you use brown people and you put Mexican flags with them saying that you stand up for illegal immigrants, but you follow the money and it's going back to the Communist Party, what you're essentially doing is using your platform as elected officials, the trust that the American people have put in you, essentially to usher in communism. You're not actually fighting for American values. Don't roll your eyes because it's a serious topic and that's where the money's coming from. So now I'm informing you, so now you guys can make your decisions, but please be informed, sir, Mr. Walls, that if you truly do uphold the American ideologies and perspectives on the Constitution, you should not be speaking at that rally. I've given you the correct information, and as of right now, I've authorized a letter to be sent to my office to the President of the United States to rescind millions of dollars in funding that we know are going to the No Kings protests that were authorized and basically given under the last administration. That is what Congress is supposed to do, not point fingers, not blame people, but actually ensure that the American people are protected and not fighting for foreign interests, foreign governments, and also the communist.
Well, talk your shit, man. That was a mic drop moment. Oh my God, I love that. I could listen to that clip a couple times. And yeah, Tim Waltz is supposed to be a guest speaker at I don't know which event exactly, but yeah, well, we already know he's owned by China. The whole Democrat Party is in bed with China. Some Republicans as well, but the whole Democrat Party, they're owned by China. And that was a mic drop moment. And let's listen to what Barack Obama said in 2005. He doesn't sound that much different from Trump today. Let's see what he has to say.
We all agree on the need to better secure the border and to punish employers who choose to hire illegal immigrants. We are a generous and welcoming people here in the United States, but those who enter the country illegally and those who employ them disrespect the rule of law, and they are showing disregard for those who are following the law. We simply cannot allow people to pour into the United States undetected, undocumented, unchecked, and circumventing the line of people who are waiting patiently, diligently, and lawfully to become immigrants in this country.
Who does that sound like today? Is that racist Trump? According to the Democrats, it's racist to have a secure border and want to know who comes over your border into your country. But when Barack Obama says it, crickets, just like the border when they were deporting people. Obama deported more people than any president. They didn't say anything. The minute Trump starts deporting people, it's the end of our democracy. It's a threat to our democracy. It's stupid. People don't buy it anymore. These are paid agitators, paid protesters. The Democrat Party is fake. You can see them saying exact clips of what Trump's talking about today, like policy-wise, that they complain about on a daily basis. That's the same exact if you compare them side to side. And I do want to react to what the Florida sheriff said today, because I already had that on my backdrop, but that last video of what the influencer said, I know she kind of showed it, but this is the whole video.
So I'm gonna break it down for you, all right? And if somebody wants to know what I mean by turn violent, all right, this is what I mean. If you resist lawful orders, you're going to jail. Let me be very clear about that. If you block an intersection or a roadway in Brevard County, you are going to jail. If you flee arrest, you're going to go to jail tired, because we are going to run you down and put you in jail. If you try to mob rule a car in Brevard County, gathering around it, refusing to let the driver leave, in our county, you're most likely going to get run over and dragged across the street. If you spit on us,
yes,
you're going to the hospital,
yes,
and jail. If you hit one of us, you're going to the hospital and jail, and most likely get bitten by one of our big, beautiful dogs that we have here. If you throw a brick, a firebomb, or point a gun at one of our deputies, we will be notifying your family where to collect your remains at, because we will kill you graveyard dead. We're not going to play. This has got to stop. You're watching what's taking place out there. You're seeing police officers that are being attacked, being spit on, being put in harm's way just for doing their jobs. You're seeing ICE agents that are being targeted for doing their jobs. And you're seeing obstructionists that are doing all of this, standing in the way of law and order.
That is exactly how every governor, every politician, every representative should be speaking right now to these people that are here illegally causing havoc. And of course, it's just Republicans that say that, because we actually defend law and order. We're not the ones that defunded the police while supported BLM burning down cities, like they're doing the same thing right now when it comes to the legal protests. Yeah, it's pretty sad. But I mean, as I have nothing but respect for that guy right there. That's how every single politician should be acting right now. I want to play this again in case anyone didn't hear at the beginning, because I thought this was a perfect description of what's happening right now. Patrick Bet-David, he owns the PBD podcast, one of my favorite podcasts. Go listen to him on YouTube. He said this is the reason for it right here.
Are you going to fall for this tactic? He's separating families and their kids and all this other stuff. He's doing all this other stuff. It's going to be interesting watching how California handles this, because if they succeed in getting everybody else emotional, we know what game they're playing. June 14th is President Trump's 79th birthday, 250-year army. You got Flag Day. You got all this stuff that they're doing with America. They don't want to see any of these victories taking place. Axios article came out talking about 1,500 protests they're already planning in 50 states, funded by 100 progressive organizations, a lot of different NGOs. One of the Walton billionaires, Christy Walton, name was mentioned in New York Times. This is a $19, $20 billion type of person. A lot of this money, you hear Soros, all these other things that they're doing. They're planning this. You know what they're looking for? I hate to say this. They're looking for their next George Floyd. That is all they need. They need one person. They need one massive crisis. They have no policies. They have no good ideas. I've yet to see. I went on ChatGPT. I said, can you tell me what solutions Mayor Bass and Gavin Newsom have given to all these protesting? There is no solutions.
That's what I've been saying. The Democrats do not offer any policy or anything that benefits the American people. Ruth, we should dedicate it to Day of Prayer. Make sure you guys are very safe. It sucks that I got to work tomorrow. I'm going to be in an area too where one's going to be by. So it's going to be pretty interesting working in the area where one's going to be by. I will definitely take some good video footage though on my lunch. Should be interesting. I want to know what you guys think as well. Please let me know. Love you guys. Have a great day. Peace.